Hey everybody, I'm back today with another layout for Cut to You. I'm going to be working with the apples sliced cut file. So this cut file comes with 2 apples, one that is the outline of the apple and then the inside of the apple, and then one where the apple is sliced and you have all of these different layers and pieces that you can go ahead and kind of play with or add a little bit of color, add something to it. So we are going to, again, like we did with the pumpkin, we're going to go ahead and ink up and color these die cuts up using some Distress Oxide ink. I'm just taking all the little pieces and separating them out. I'm not going to do the outline of the apple. We're going to kind of color those up separately, but we're not going to do the insides. You'll see as I work through. So I'm going to start with these pieces here. These are the first pieces we're going to ink up. I am using Rich Mahogany, Candied Apple, Speckled Egg, and Ground Espresso. Distress Oxide inks, and I'm coloring them up using my blending brushes. These are the Life Changing brushes from Picket Fence. I also have some Gina K ones that I really like as well. So I am coloring straight onto my Silhouette cut mat. I actually use my Kappa mats from Amazon. I find that they last longer and they're not so super sticky. And also they will clean up and get re-sticky with a baby wipe. So, you know, I am a big fan of baby wipes, as you probably know if you watch my channel for any length of time. I have some Sizzix Maker's Tape here, and I'm just going to mask off so that I can color up the stem and the leaf on my cut file. I'm using Speckled Egg to color up my cut file. The reason I'm doing this is because I want these colors to match the collection I'm going to be working with, which is Minte's Apple Season layouts or collection, and that collection does not have like green, it just has that kind of minty green. So I'm going to use Speckled Egg for my leaf so everything kind of coordinates. For the inside of the apple, I am using Antique Linen Distress Oxide ink. I think this was like the perfect color for the inside of an apple. Worked out so well. And then for the 2 layers for the inside of the apple, I'm going to use Candied Apple, obviously. Isn't that the perfect color for this? Candied Apple, Distress Oxide ink, and Rich Mahogany. And then for my other 2 apples, now these aren't the sliced ones, these are the ones that are full apples. I'm going to use a mixture of both of these colors, the Candied Apple and is it aged mahogany or rich mahogany? Hold on, let me look. It's aged mahogany. So what I'm doing here is I have a piece of paper to keep, this is just scratch paper, and it's going to keep my hands from getting inky, and it's also going to help me to hold down the apple. And then for the inside of these apples, I am using a mix of both those colors, the aged mahogany and the candy apple. This just provides a little bit of color definition, maybe a little highlight shadow type thing going on. And I'm just going to get a nice smooth blend with my blending brush. And I'm going to do this for both of the insides of the apples. Now, the way we are going to set this layout up, this doesn't need to be a perfect blend, and it doesn't need to be a perfect inked or, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect, right? Because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to end up covering this up with my photos. So these are going to act as frames almost. Another thing that you will notice is that when I get done finished inking them, they are blotchy, but when they dry, they smooth out quite a bit. So they're going to smooth out really nice, and you won't even, like you'll see when I put the layout together, like they don't look blotchy at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue inking using my 2 colors till I am happy with both of these apples. And then you can see here how they dried and smoothed out. So I am going to take the apple that is sliced, and I'm going to inlay all those different pieces that I've colored. And then I have the 2 full apples. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take these 3 apple cut files, and I'm going to create kind of like a visual triangle. And that's how we're going to set our page up. I'm inlaying the pieces of the sliced apple into the middle there, just using some tape and putting it all back together to make a full apple that is all colored up. This is a great technique if you are someone who doesn't like to back cut files, but also doesn't like to waste all that white paper, right? Like you cut your cut files on this really nice white paper, and then you have all these inside pieces that you're just gonna throw away and back with a pattern. This is a great way to go ahead and use those pieces up. Use the entire cut file, not just the outside, and it's a lot easier than backing them. Although I am not opposed to a good backed cut file, let me just say. And I'm not opposed to throwing away those white inside pieces if you'd rather have pattern. But, you know, some people do, some people don't. I am popping up some of my photos using some tabby dots from Spiegel Mom Scraps, my favorite foam adhesive. And I am going to go ahead now and I can just kind of decorate, right? So my photos are down. These are just photos of an apple orchard we visited. I'm going to go ahead and use just some die cuts for my title. So I have this little square that does say Apple Orchard. And then I have the red memories. And that's just going to be my title, Apple Orchard Memories. And now I can kind of go around my layout, layer up some die cuts. So for this particular layout, my cut file is going to play almost like a background role a little bit. Because we're using these apples as a base for our title and for some embellishments and for our photos. But at the same time, without those cut files, you would lose so much color and interest on this layout. So it's definitely kind of a fun and different way to use a cut file. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue kind of adding in these die cuts, creating these beautiful clusters around my photos and around my title. And I did use one of those puppy dogs. I love those puppy dogs. They're my favorite. Once I had all the die cuts down, I really wanted a little pop and a little sparkle into my clusters. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with some sequins. These are white sequins. They're called White Shoes from Spiegel Mom Scraps. They're not in stock anymore. I do know that they are sold out, but they're beautiful, just a little white sequins, and they have these beautiful white floral, like flower sequins in them. So we have kind of like, they were just the perfect color and pop without being, we have a lot of color going on, multiple design reasons. I just decided the white sequins were the way to go. And let's remember where we are going to call this layout done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to head over and grab this cut file if you have apple photos from the fall. It's such a lovely cut file. And look how gorgeous those sequins looked. Perfect sequin choice to accent all the colors and things going on. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.